And even that woman, when she came out to meet him, she didn't seem like she was going to start raising Cain with Tommy. But for some reason, Tommy wanted to have, like, how do I put it? It's almost like a boxing match. Like, Tommy already saw it as a fight. He saw it as a fight he was getting into. The woman herself didn't see it as a fight. And this is the woman we're talking about, not even Tommy. Tommy is the man, and Tommy is not meant to be in that position. She is the one who is meant to instigate something like that, not Tommy. But Tommy is the one who instigated that exchange. Just like you have in boxing, when you have somebody trying to get the first punch in, trying to get the first attack. Even in gaming, when you're playing online, it's always a good idea to try and get the first attack, so you can have that mental edge over your opponent. But it's almost like Tommy is trying to have the mental edge in that exchange with the woman, almost as if he's the woman himself. And I'm just saying this based on what I saw. I'm not saying it just throwing it out there, because it's something I find a lot of times that people are very loose with words, which is not cool. But again, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, because I have to point these things out for the benefit of people who might be listening to him, who might still have hope of understanding the truth and having their eyes open to the truth. That this guy is not somebody who you should be listening to, because that was something that God used to expose him as to who he really is as a person. You know, that was something that was used to show you who Tommy really is in real time. It went over a lot of people's heads, sadly. You know, God has been exposing him for a very, very long time, and I've been noticing that for the years I've been watching him. So many different things he came out with, like when he says like he's a deity. That in itself is a sign of narcissism. And when someone is narcissistic, who do they care about? They only care about themselves. They only focus on themselves. That's what whenever someone tells you they're a deity, it basically means I only care about myself. That's what it means. That's what it means. A lot of people don't seem to understand that these are the things that God has pointed out with him that would give you that red flag, that should make you avoid this guy. You know, but if you're still listening to him, you know, just continue listening to this video, and hopefully God will put it in your heart to see what I'm saying for yourself, because nothing I say can change you. Only God can change a man. Only God can make a leopard change his spots. So how he treats his fans is not really the best. Like when he gets these calls in, and another thing again is his debates. You know, I've never seen anybody debate like him. You know, his debating skills is shocking, at the very least. His debating skills is one of the worst I've ever seen. You know, this is a guy who has a format. As soon as you start trying to talk to the person, the first thing he'll try and do is try and make you say something that you don't necessarily want to say, so that you can give him a platform for him to start talking about that thing that he wanted you to say. You know, so it's kind of like a lazy man's way out of natural debate, because first of all, the people that he's debating are not exactly they're not exactly the biggest geniuses in the world. You can tell that there's a specific demographic of people that he chooses to debate, because there's several times I've gone in his comment section and I've seen people who asked to debate him. A guy called NW Boxing 247 wanted to debate him one time, and he never debated him. And if you go to NW's channel now, you see that the guy is very knowledgeable in his own right, even though I have my own issues with him too, regarding some things that he does, which I'm sure he knows what I'm talking about if he watches this video. But basically, he's a guy who pointed out certain things on the comment section that Tommy never addressed. First of all, that we're the Jews. Secondly, that, you know, God is who he is, because Tommy has this on and off view of who he believes our Father in heaven is. That's another thing I'm going to address as well, hopefully, in this video. Well, actually, one of the most important one of the most important aspects I have to address in this video. So, so the people that he debates, he knows the kind of people that he goes into debates with. You know, they're not exactly the most intelligent people on earth. They're not exactly the Einsteins of the world that he debates with, and he knows this. So he's basically I would say he's setting them up for failure, but he knows he knows ahead of time that this is a fight he can win. It's just like in boxing when you see someone cherry picking. That's exactly what he does. He cherry picks his fights, which tells me that he's weak. He's a weak debater. He doesn't really have what it takes to actually debate an actual person that actually knows what they're talking about. He likes to debate people who don't have the first clue what they're talking about, first off. Secondly, when he's debating people on religion, he likes to debate people who, again, don't really know what they're talking about. Who don't really know what they're doing. And in his own mind, he feels he's actually winning these debates. But the sad part of it is that these same people that he debates who don't really know what they're talking about, they actually still put out some points that he can't actually really counter. And then what he does is that he starts trying to do ad hominem attacks and start trying. So he has this kind of these stages that he follows when he starts debating. First stage is that he tries to make you say something, and then he stays on it for the whole debate. Next thing he tries to do is he starts trying to interrupt you or talk over you, because the first thing that he does above all this is that he hosts the debate. You understand? And I'll tell anybody who is really interested in debating Tommy, don't even give him that advantage. Just try and get him to come to a neutral platform. Try and get another YouTuber to host a debate between the two of you, so that you guys can outlay your points and you guys will get equal time. Because one of the things I noticed with him is that he likes to talk about people when they're debating him and doesn't give them a chance to say anything. And that one thing again is like, after that point, that doesn't work to his satisfaction. He starts delaying ad hominem attacks on people, starts attacking that person, who they think they are, who they doesn't think they are. And the person, a lot of the time I see, is like, when the people debating him get to certain points, it's almost like a deer in the headlights. They just don't really know where this guy is going, and they don't realize that in Tommy's own little narcissistic world, he's literally fighting for his life in this debate. He really, really wants to win this debate against this guy who doesn't really know what he's talking about for some bizarre reason. They don't know that he's already in that realm. Well, as soon as they pick up that phone and speak to him, he's already in that realm. Just like the same way that he prepared himself to fight that woman when that woman was just trying to talk to him. He has this pre-preparation thing that he does, where he puts himself in that mindset that he doesn't need to be in, like literally. And the people that he's debating don't have the first clue that this is the mindset he has when he's debating you. He's debating you to embarrass you. He's debating you to make you look bad, even if what you're saying is true. He doesn't care, because the truth is not what he's there for. He's not there for the truth. For what I've seen, he's there to basically line his pockets. That's what I've seen, and it's very likely a paid show as well. And I'll make my reasonings for that as well. So that's what I've seen, and when those people persevere past that, the next thing he does is cut off the phone call and starts going on a tirade or a rant about how ignorant that person is, and that's just me being, nice. Ignorant. If he was just saying ignorant, that would be nice, but he says a lot more than that about the people. But that's the thing, his debating skills is not the best. I wouldn't advise anyone who does not really, within those of us like us who know the truth, we don't really have time for stuff like that, to be honest. It would be nice maybe to take time out to go on one of his shows and have a talk, and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, God is the one who does everything. God knows who's who. God knows who his children are. God knows why he's there. And if it's meant for us, our path to cross, then our path will cross at some point. And not just me, there's other people out there, even though there are very few, who know the truth and who are doing God's will. But what I can tell you right now is that majority of YouTubers are out there, the majority of Negro YouTubers all have a gimmick. And when you have a gimmick, it means that you don't really have much to talk about, or you don't really have the talent for what you're doing, or you're really limited in your knowledge. Because a gimmick means this is what I do, and this is what I have to keep doing, because it's something that I can keep potentially using, from now till eternity. And I know that I always have a market out there for what I'm talking about, because there's always people out there ready and willing to listen to this nonsense I'm putting out and whatnot. So when you have a group of Negroes talking about the same thing over and over and over again in their videos, you have to ask questions as to, one, their motivations for making these videos. Two, are these people really meant to be talking on videos? Like, is this what they're meant to be doing? Because if this is what I'm meant to be doing, then they don't have to keep rehashing things on a frequent basis. If you look at Tommy's videos, as an example, you would see that he has a lot of videos that talk about the same things over and over again. So if you watch one of your videos for like a 2 months period, and then you go in the next 3 months and then watch the video again, you're going to see a rehashing of some of the things, or majority of the things that he's talked about previously, again in another video. This is besides the point that the truth is redundant. But when you have somebody who has to keep rehashing stuff, then you have to ask yourself if this person is in the right business, and if you have any business listening to such a person. So right. So another thing has to do with his kids. I don't know if you noticed, but Tommy is not married, but he has 3 kids. So and this is something that he's put out there. He didn't have to, But another thing, again, I think that attracts people to Tommy is that he is, I won't say for the most part, but he, to a good extent, he lets people in as to certain things that he does. But the scary thing about people like that is that if the things that he's let you in are a bit jarring, how much more the things he hasn't let you in on? There's several people who have come during the years saying all sorts of things about Tommy, and a lot of people have dismissed it. But if you're having one person getting all this stuff said about him, and in some cases it's been repeated by different people, wouldn't it be worth looking into, just for your own self? Even you don't even have to make a big deal of it. Just check into it yourself, see what these people are saying, see if it makes sense. The reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people talked about the fact that Tommy had kids out of wedlock, and this is something that he refused to accept. The scary part again is it something that he knew about while he was lying to his spectators about it? That's where the scary part is. And when you think about something like that, it really makes you scared, because this guy said something, and what he said might not be true, because he said that he doesn't have another kid as a wedlock after his first kid. I'm not going to mention his kid's name, but the first kid that everyone knows, everyone knows he had out of wedlock, and he has this thing going on with the mother and stuff, which we don't really know, because he comes out in spurts with what's going on with the mother and whatnot. Not that he has to even tell anybody anything, because his private life, he doesn't really have to prove his private life out there at all. But that's kind of like the basis of his show, which is kind of contradictory, because why would you listen to somebody who has a show talking about the looseness of as in how loose our women are having kids out of wedlock, and then he has kids out of wedlock? Is the equivalent of you going to an unmarried marriage counselor. You understand? It's kind of very contradictory doing something like that. It's not the best idea. So he's kind of not the best person to listen to when it comes to what dark-skinned women or dark-skinned people in general should or shouldn't be doing, because he is knee-deep in it. And if you look at his life now, what has he really learned from the things that he did in the past, that led up to him having all these kids out of wedlock? Seriously, think about it. This is a guy who still goes on Facebook, he still goes on Instagram, he still goes on Tinder, or wherever it is they go to, Tumblr, or wherever it is they go to look for women. And typically he targets who? Dark-skinned women. Why is this? Why does he keep targeting dark-skinned women when he knows when in his own mind dark-skinned women are the worst of the worst? Why does he keep targeting them? Isn't that kind of a contradiction of what he's saying? Or do you keep targeting a group of people that you have said are not worth your time? It doesn't make any sense. And that's the kind of stuff that he does, that people do not ask questions about. So basically, he basically is still in the same position that he was those many years ago when he made those mistakes. He's still taking women to his house, he's still having sex with them raw. This is something that he talks about in his shows that sometimes makes you try to fast forward past those parts because he seems to be really, really proud of the fact that he sleeps with all kinds of women. Another thing that he doesn't really point out, they said he points out from time to time, is the venereal diseases that he gets from these women. And this is another thing, again, that is very dangerous to him. If you try to live his lifestyle, you don't know what he is going through health-wise. You don't know if he even has a short time to live. You don't even know if the health issues he has is based off the lifestyle he has. If you look at his lifestyle and you think to yourself, it's cool lifestyle. The repercussions of living such a lifestyle, he hasn't pointed it out to you. You want to go and live that lifestyle because he appeals to you. His whole lifestyle appeals to you regarding how he goes to different hotels and how he travels constantly and how he goes to different houses. It appeals to you because you might be in a somewhat same or better position than him, and you think that this is the right life to live. Don't fall into that trap. There are a lot of things that he is going through that he's not pointing out to you. He has a lot of things going on health-wise with him that he's not pointing out to you. But he will keep making his videos on a day-to-day basis, pretending like everything is fine, pretending like he's on your side when he isn't. He's never been on your side, and he will never be on your side because he has his own agenda. He said it himself. And like I know for a fact, whenever someone has an agenda, it means they're not being truthful. If you have to have an agenda to make videos, it means you're not being truthful. You're not a truthful person, and no one should listen to you. Because if you're saying the truth, you do not have to have an agenda. That's a simple fact. So he's still doing the same things that led to him being in the position that he is as a single father. And even right now, there's people coming out and saying that he has other kids.